All right, good morning and happy Monday. What? This week? And then next week? And then you're off for Christmas break. Isn't that nice? Um, all right, we get to add a little tiny piece to our math belt today. I know you're excited. I get it because I'm excited too. But before that, let's review through the challenge questions. So, you should have already completed your challenge questions through the Google Doc. The first thing, and this should look a lot like it's looked from the past, because remember, we're supposed to try to build each day. If you're not understanding it, well, the next day, hopefully you understand it. And if you didn't understand it the next day, hopefully the next day you will. Because this is what, our fourth or fifth day of our challenge questions looking just like this with different numbers. So let's jump into it. We have turn that fraction into an improper fraction. So we have three wholes, and then we have a half. So three wholes and a half, and we want to turn it into just a fraction. Well, remember, the mixed number already has a denominator, which is 2. You keep that denominator. And instead, you're saying, right now I have three wholes and a half. I want to just change it all into halves. So first thing you have to figure out, how many halves are in three wholes. Well, you have 2, 4, 6. So in three wholes, you have 6 halves, right? You multiply these, and then whatever number you get, you just add it to the fraction that you already had. So we already had 1/2. Now we have 6 halves plus 1/2. So that's 7 halves. So this answer right here is 7 halves. Now, for the second challenge question, I already did the first step, because when you multiply, for the second problem, when you multiply fractions or mixed numbers, you have to turn them both into fractions. So 3.5 has to be converted into just a fraction by getting rid of the whole number. So in doing so, you get 7 halves. And we're going to multiply that by 3/4, and it looks like that. Now we can multiply across. So 7 times 3 is 21, and 2 times 4 is 8. How many 8s are in 21? Well, 8, 16, 24. Oh, you can't take out 3 groups of 8 because that would mean you need 24. We don't have 24. We have 21. So we could take out 2 whole groups. That would be 16. So number 17, 18, 19, 20, and 21 are left over. So that means we have 5 left over. So that answer is 2 5/8. And now to simplify, remember, there's many ways. You can take your time, figure out all the factors, and then just find the biggest one they have in common and use that as your magic number. Or you can just look at it and say, is there a number that they could both be counted up to by? So like they're both even. So you can count by 2s for both of them, which means how many 2s make 10? 5. How many 2s make 24? 12. And then you just reanalyze that number. Look at that number. What about 5 and 12? No, there's nothing that goes into both of them. So that simplified for that one. Just so happens that that means that 2 was the biggest factor that they both share. What about 10 and 5? Or I'm sorry, 10 and 25. They're not both even. Is there a number that goes into both of them? Yeah, 5. How many 5s make 10? 2. How many 5s make 25? 5. So 10 25ths simplifies to 2/5. And I look at that and I say, can there be a number that goes into both of those? No. So therefore, that is simplified. It can't be reduced anymore. What about 10 26? Ooh, they're both even. I love it when they're both even. Half of 10 is 5. Half of 26 is 13. And then you just look at that. Is there a number that goes into both of those? And the answer is no. So that's that. Now for the challenge question. So sometimes I strategically use the challenge question as a way to sprinkle the new material. And that's exactly what I'm doing today. So yes, it's a challenge question, meaning I didn't teach it to you yet, but guess what I'm teaching you today? Exactly that. I'm teaching you that today. So if 4 people share 3 waffles, how much waffle will each person get? Well, there's less waffles than people. So immediately people want to just say half. Oh, it's got to be half. No, because if you turn it into half, then you have 6 shares. You don't want 6 shares. So let's see here. We want to look at our 3 waffles. And what you actually will want to do here is they teach you that you take each waffle and you focus on 1 waffle at a time. So if 4 people share 1 waffle, then each person gets 1 4, right? But you don't have 1 waffle, you get 3 of them. So each person will get a 4th of this one as well. And each person will get a 4th of this one as well. So now, if I'm 1 person and I get, a 4th of each of the 3, I get 3/4 total. Okay. So today we're going to learn how to divide fractions. You can be like, Mr. Stahl, we're not dividing fractions there. That's a whole number, and that's a whole number. But yeah, there is a fraction involved. The fraction is your answer. So I'm going to teach you a method that you can use for all division that has fractions related to it. So let's look at a different way to do it. So anyways, so the answer is, if this is me, hey, I am one of the 4 people. How many waffles am I getting? I'm getting 1/4, 2/4, 3/4. And why are these called fourths? Because each piece is a 4th of 1 waffle. So I have 3/4. My answer is 3/4. So what this problem is 3 divided by 4. Why 3? Because 3 is the waffles that you have, and you're dividing it by 4 people. In division, the order totally matters, okay? Because the first number that you say in division is what you actually have. And then the second number you say in division is how many groups you're going to split it between, okay? So 3 divided by 4 is much different than 4 divided by 3. So I'm going to teach you a little trick. So remember that belt you had? Remember when you math man? But you had a belt, a very beautiful math belt, right? And my job is to fill your math belt with math tools, right? So today I'm going to give you that new tool, and that new tool is exciting. That new tool is a little KCF. And you're like, oh, Mr. I love eating there, man. They got some good chicken. No, not Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's KFC. This is KCF. And it stands for a little something I like to call keep change flip. So in division, you have a number divided by another number. You're going to learn that these have really interesting names like dividend divided by divisor, but you don't need to know that right now. All you need to know is when you're looking at it in order, then you are going to keep the first number the same. You are going to change the division sign, and you are going to flip whatever the second number or the divisor is. You'd be like, Mr. Stahl, okay, so that's going to turn the 4 into an H? That doesn't make any sense. No, that's not what I mean by flip. I mean, if this were a fraction, which we could turn 4 into a fraction, you'd flip it. So instead of 4/1, it would be 1/4. Okay. Now, why would we do this, Mr. Stahl? Because dividing by fractions is disgusting and disturbing and almost impossible. So we don't divide by fractions. We'll multiply instead, because we do a little something called keep change flip. And in division, all the answers are the exact same as their keep change flip partner. Confusing? Yes, right now it might be. But let me show it to you. 3 would keep the same. right? And this is an example of how we could solve that last problem. 3 waffles, 4 people. Keep waffles the same. Instead of division, you change it to multiplication, and instead of 4 waffles, it's 1/4, because you flipped that second part. So keep, change, flip, multiply across. Answer would be 3/4. Just like we said, the answer is 3/4. Yeah, I know you're excited. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you to add something to your math belt. But since I am not as good as my friend here, let's listen to a wonderful little song here. Let's listen to a wonderful little song here that will help you guys remember the old keep, change, flipperoonie. I know you don't have to talk. I know you are blown away. That was phenomenal. And what's cool about you watching this at your house is like when you watch it in school, you got to pretend like you don't like it. You know, to be cool. Like, yeah, whatever. I mean, it's okay, I guess. But at home, I know you were jamming it. I know you were. You were sitting there like, change, flip. All right. Because no one's watching you. Don't lie to me. I know it's true. All right. Let's get back into our lesson, shall we? All right. Math man. All right. So we're going to work on the odds together, and then the evens we will work on live Zoom, and then you get a little H-dub. So it says, suppose there are 5 people and 4 waffles. There are 5 people and 4 waffles. What is each person's share of 1 waffle? So 5, 4. Well, didn't we kind of just come up with the same answer? What are you dividing? 4. What are you dividing it by? 5. What's 4 divided by 5? We'll keep 4. Change and then flip. Well, what is 5 flip? It's 1/5. So 4 over 1 times 1 over 5 is 4/5. So that answer is 4/5. What is each person? Oh, sorry. All right. Oh man, read everything. 4/5 would be our share of 4 waffles. If we just looked at one of those waffles, right? One waffle divided by 5 people is 1/5. So that answer is 1/5. This answer is 4/5. And they want to see if we know how to keep, change, flip. So you keep 4 the same. You change the sign from division to multiplication. And then you flip the 5 into 1/5. And then you multiply across. And you get 4/5. Cool. We'll do 2 together. Let's do number 3. 5 divided by 6. Keep, change, flip. So 6 flipped. Remember, you got to remember that 6 is not a 6, but as a fraction, it's 6/1. So flipping it is 1/6. Okay, so 5 times 1/6. Now you just have to turn 5 into a fraction, because now it looks like Mr. Krabs' eyeballs, which we need here. We totally need. And then 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. So that answer is 5/6. So keep, change, flip. Perf. Number 5, can you divide 7 equally among 8 people? Sure we can. The first number that you say is what you are dividing. You're dividing 7 waffles, and you are dividing it by 8, right? By 8 groups. So keep, change, and then remember, 8 flip is 1/8, and 7 is 7/1. I'm not flipping it. It is 7/1. I'm just doing that so I can multiply across. So that answer is 7/8. 7/8. Discuss this equation, why this equation is true for any whole number. No, we're not going to do that part because that's where I start losing people. So don't worry about number 7. Number 8 we'll work on together. Let's look at number 9. How many 8s are there in 3? How many 8s are there in 3? Well, how many 8s are there in 1? 8. How many 8s are there in 2? 8. How many 8s are there in number 3? 8. So how many are there total in 3 wholes? Well, what's 8 plus 8 plus 8? 24. So how many 8s are there in 3? 24. And how could we turn that into an equation? We could say 3 divided into a whole bunch of 8s. And 3 divided into a whole bunch of 8s is keep, change, flip. 3 times 8, right? And 3 times 8 is 24. Number 11. How many fourths are there in 5? Well, what we're starting with is 5, and we're going to divide them into as many fourths as we can. This is how we find how many fourths are in 5. And then remember, this is the exact same thing as keep, change, flip. 1/4 is 4/1, and 4/1 is 4. So this answer is 20. And you can see that here. You can count each little tiny fourth, and you'll see that there's 20 there. Olivia made 9 sandwiches, and then she cut them into fourths. How many fourths does she have? Well, she's starting with fourths or sandwiches. She's starting with sandwiches, so that's our first number that we write down. And she's dividing them into as many fourths as possible. Okay, so 9 divided into fourths. And to find this answer, we keep, we change, and we flip. And 1/4 flipped is 4/1, which is just 4. So 9 times 4 is 36. So how many sandwiches does she have? Well, or how many fourths does she have? She has 36 of them. And we don't put it into fourths because then we're right back to we're back to 9, right? If I put it over 4 and then we took all the 4s out of 36, we'd be back to 9. So they're asking how many fourths. So we write down how many fourths, and there's 36. So look at Damon has 6-pound bag of cat food. He feeds his cat 1/8 of a pound every day. How many days would that be? So the first number in division is what you have. It's like I always tell students, like if you ever play cards, you're the dealer, the card dealer. What do you have a big, huge amount of that you are going to deal out? Well, you have a 6-pound bag. So that is your first number you write down. And then the second number in division is how many groups there are or what each group is made of. So each group is made of an 1/8. So that is what we call your divisor. Your divisor is an 1/8. And then to solve, we keep, change, flip. So you keep 6, 6. Instead of division, you multiply, and then you flip 1/8 to 8/1. So that answer is 24. That answer is 24. Cool. Now we're in number 16, which we'll do later. Let's go to number 17. Keep, change, flip. So 1/2 is the keep. Change from division to multiplication, and then flip 3. So flip 3 is 1/3. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 3. 2 times 3 is 6. So that answer is 1/6. And then same thing here. Keep, change, flip. 1/3 keep the same. Change division to multiplication, and then flip the 4. Instead of it being 4/1, it's 1/4. So that total answer is 112. 112. And remember, because this is a video, you can always pause it, see if you can come up with the answer on your own. And then when I show you the same answer, you go, yes, I got it. I get this. I get this stuff. All right, so describe any patterns you see in the questions above. So once again, this falls under that same category of I don't like to go over these because students usually get confused and frustrated already when they start seeing letters that represent the problem. So I'm not going to do any of these describing patterns. We're not going to worry about this right now. When we understand dividing by fractions more so, then we'll jump back into this. But right now I'm not in a place where we need to go there. And then number 25, keep the 4 the same. And a lot of the times I tell students, go ahead and write your KCF on top of it. That'll kind of help you know what to do. Keep 4, change to multiplication. Remember, that dot means multiplication in big boy, big girl math. And then flip the 1/3. 1/3 flipped is 3/1 or 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Cool. 1/3 keep. Change from division to multiplication. And 4 flipped is 1/4. Okay, why is 4 flipped 1/4? Because 4 is 4/1. That doesn't flip anything. 4 is 4/1. Flipping it turns it into 1/4. And then 1 times 1 is 1. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay. And then 7 is your keep. Change from division to multiplication. And then flip from 1/2 to 2. That answer is 14. And that's what I got for you right now. If you still have time before our Zoom, go ahead, try some of these. Try the evens. And then remember, when we Zoom together, we will go over the evens as a group. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you're getting it.